June of 78. Who are you? So arrayed on the banks of the lake Adair. Pale look you not gave, and like the moon in the lake, you are not there. My poor canary, at uncertain behest, might be blown to the west in a shimmering dust of gold. With a pale yellow hair, they will call a canary, and I love my Maggie so. And that is all you need to know. A woman here ain't ever glad, not even her dad, for coming back to share her wedding cake. Woman here ain't ever free, and I'm never left. No, we never leave, we never last, we never ask, we never stay. They claim or complain or do. Not till I made a play for a parcel that lay on the Amador County line. Had a notion that I'd find employed by and by at the lonesome willow mine. But they don't enlist my kind. In the meantime, set to prospecting where I was able, and laying my money at the table. And when it was warm, we would pan when each stone play Vingt-et-un. And when it was cold, they'd come sniffing with gold in their hand. On and on and again, you do what you can. Take an eighth of an ounce in allowance for a dance, only a dance. You feel alone on the bed and cast aside, you know the pastor tried in vain to ask her hand, even to everybody dear. And I had a plan, but I had to sign, knowing my mind and my lead, letters, fingers, scraping, bleeding, photo seed, and never marry. Not in the spring of that year, when the tinker was here, gals would hire him to mend their tin. I heard them swarm from afar, like a storm in a jar, like a choir of cherubim, singing hymns, whispering Maggie took his old buggy whip, and I lowered a skip in the glow of the sodium lights with a load of dynamite. Then he said, I am here, and with a touch on me, after 30 years down in the mine. Help me lead out the news, help me free the poor fools, let them see for the very first time they were blind, blind, blind. Then we rode to the bed to be where genuflect, and she opened her neck like a scream. I saw the father appear, heard her sob in my ear like it now, a cherubim howling him. It was him, it was him, it was him. So I threw a charge down the shaft in a cart with the pastor who's back and evangelized. He was the last and the worst, canary always goes first to sing when the waters rise. Hear her sing on that night. Like the screech of a flare, like they're reaching for air beneath a smothering eiderdown. Veins of gold still outstretched in a silent caress for miles and miles around. But let me join in that line, let me toil that line, let me find what is hiding there. Let me dig when I thirst, let me drink when I thirst, let me breathe a parallel and breathe for my canary and breathe. Let me breathe. Let me breathe for my canary. Breathe for my canary, breathe for my canary, always goes first. Breathe for my canary, breathe for my canary, always goes first. Breathe for my canary. Woo!